Hey guys, I'm Arden Kaywin, and today I want to talk to you about what you can do to change a brassy or nasal sound in your singing. The brassy sound and the nasal sound comes from not enough space inside your mouth. So sound resonates in different places in our body, and the buccal cavity, which is the inside of your mouth cavity, can be affected by how we change the shape of the soft palate. When we have a soft palate that is very low or even actively pushing down towards your tongue, we cut off all that space that could be back there, and the vibrations in the air have nowhere to go, so they go right out your nose and create a nasal sound or a brassy sound, depending on your unique structure. The first thing to do is to understand where your soft palate is if you don't know. So hard palate, front of the mouth, on the roof of the mouth, where if you have ever worn a retainer, your retainer would go. That's the hard palate. Soft palate lives behind that, behind where your molars are. To find it, take your tongue and put it in an NG position. That's your soft palate, where your tongue is touching on the roof of your mouth. Rub it around up there and you'll feel That's all your soft palate back there. If you want to affect your soft palate by expanding it, stretching it, so that you don't get that nasal or brassy sound, there are a few things you can do. Number one, smell the brownies. Imagine you have a plate of brownies, fresh, chewy, gooey chocolate yumminess right out of the oven, and somebody holds them up right here, right under your nose. Smell those brownies. You feel your soft palate stretch when you imagine smelling something really good and you smile as you smell it. Do it again and feel how your soft palate stretches up and back as you breathe in. Another way of getting the same feeling is breathe into a smile. So find a nice easy smile and have a nose breath and expand your ears as you smile. Right. When you breathe into the space between your ears, you feel your soft palate expand and pull up and back. What we want is a feeling of a dome back there. When you get the nasal sound or the brassy sound, it's not a dome, it's a pitched roof, very, very low. Okay, so pull up on that dome. Do it one more time and breathe into a smile. Right. We generally don't spend too much time stretching or expanding our soft palate in day-to-day life, so it can be hard to find that feeling when we sing, because the fix for the nasal sound is to take that soft palate that has fallen or that's actively smushing and to pull it and expand it upwards and back like a big dome, like the Hollywood Bowl back there. If you're not familiar with that feeling, another way of getting the same feeling is yawn. Because in our day-to-day life, when we yawn, we do stretch our soft palate. So make yourself yawn and feel what happens. When I yawn, I feel a big stretch between my ears. And that's my soft palate expanding in all directions, up, out, and back. We also depress our larynx when we yawn, that sensation. We don't want to do that when we sing. So let's just make sure that the distinction is clear, that the stretch of the soft palate is an independent action from the depressing of the larynx. So we're going to leave that out and we're going to focus on this stretch here of the yawn, which is what we want to feel. When we yawn, it's really the only time in our day-to-day life that we stretch the soft palate. So as you're learning how to stretch your soft palate and get into that in your singing, if you find yourself trying it as you're singing and then actually physically yawning, it's totally normal. Your body is used to a much lower soft palate, so the only other time you would stretch it is when you yawn. So if you're starting to stretch it, your body thinks, oh, I maybe want to yawn, and it will actually go into a full-on yawn. But don't worry, it won't last forever. It's just your body getting used to the sensation. So now that you know where your soft palate is and you know what the feeling of the stretch is, how do we cultivate that for our singing? We always want to breathe into the space that we want for the note we're going to sing. As you get acquainted with the sensation of expanding the soft palate, you won't need to do a nose breath all the time to feel it. But in the beginning, I find it to be the easiest way to get into that space right from the start. So breathe into the smile, smell the brownies, And then when you sing, the next task is to keep that shape, that expanded dome back there. In my imagination, it kind of looks like the Hollywood Bowl or like a big parachute back there. It's like the back of my skull is expanding backwards. My ears are widening away from each other. That's also a really helpful tip. So that's the next one we're going to go to. So as you go to sing with this expanded soft palate, we need to keep the shape as we sing through the phrase. And the way to do that is by continuing to feel your ears widening away from each other as you go to the end of the phrase. Don't let that soft palate fall down. The most common pitfall that new singers find when they're doing this exercise is that they get into this beautiful stretch on the soft palate when they smell the brownies. They feel their ears widening away from each other, but the longer the phrase goes, the more that soft palate goes back down into that old pitched place, and the space gets smaller and the tone gets nasal and brassy. So, as you go to sing, imagine you have fish hooks pulling that soft palate back, and expanding it, and don't let it go until you let go of the phrase at the end. The one thing I will tell you is this very important tip to remember. The higher in your range you're singing, the more soft palate stretch you want. Now, that's not to say that when you're low in your voice, especially low at the bottom of your chest voice, you want no space back there, because again, that'll put you in that brassy nasal quality, which we tend to want to stay away from. But we need much more space the higher we go. So if we have a basic amount of space on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 4, when we're in the lowest part of our chest voice, by the time we're at the highest part of our range, we definitely want a 10. So we're going to try this out on a siren. And you're going to siren on a yaw, and as you do it, you're going to let that sensation of cheeks and ears pull up into that sensation of lift, that smell the brownie space that you get when you breathe. Don't let it fall down. Try it. Yaw! You can get from chest to head very seamlessly because of all that stretch up there. You can stay in chest, and it reminds you that the same sensation occurs even at the top of your chest voice. Ya! With a very soft jaw, stay down in your support and pull up on the soft palate. Now we're going to do it on a mi, me, ma. We're going to have a siren feeling pulling up on that soft palate even though we're on syllables now. We'll start in head voice, then we'll do the next one in chest voice. You hear the difference of when I draw my soft palate and when I pull on it? It's really obvious once you know what you're feeling and what you're listening for. Here's a chest voice example. Mi, me, ma. Right? So you can hear the difference there as well. When the soft palate pitches like a roof this way, you don't get that bloom and you don't get that, that resonance that you want. You get a brassy sound or you get a nasal sound. Otherwise, when it's blooming like this and expanding, you get a nice open resonance. So try this out in your own singing and leave me a comment below and tell me how your experimentation is going. It requires a lot of experimenting and you can be unsure whether you're doing it right at first. So I'm happy to respond to any comments if you have questions or concerns about whether you're doing it right. You can also try to post a video or private message me through my website. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for email updates to become a member of my virtual voice studio. You'll get instant access to a powerful video training called Be a More Consistent Singer, and you'll get first dibs on singing workshops and masterclasses, as well as access to studio member-only tips, tools, and insights I don't share anywhere else. I remember when I first learned about the soft palate, it was a very game-changing technique for me. It really made a huge difference in what I was able to do with my resonance and the power of my sound. So I am so thrilled to be able to give this tip to you, and I hope that you will not be stingy with this and that you will pass it on to other singers you know by forwarding this video to create this wonderful, expanded, compassionate community of singers, all here to support each other on our quest for our best feeling and our best sounding singing. To that end, your voice is a unique gift that the world is just waiting to receive. Keep practicing, don't give up, I believe in you, keep coming back, and I'll see you next time. I'm Arden Kaywin.